So if the NHL was ever going to put this guy in the Hockey Hall of Fame for longevity, he would be the number one person, because when you give a half century directly to the NHL and junior, minor, pro, you deserve some type of recognition. He deserves every recognition he gets. We're going to talk about two-time Stanley Cup winner and Team Canada member Eddie Johnston. Now, Eddie Johnston is also a former coach and GM of the NHL. His professional career, like I said, spanned 53 years, 22 as a player and 31 in management, mostly in the NHL, but with some minor pro and junior. Now, he won 2 Stanley Cups as a player for Boston in 1972 and a third in 2009 as a senior advisor for hockey operations with the Penguins, an organization he served in various capacities for 25 years. Now, he was the last NHL goaltender to play every minute of every game in a season in 63-64, no matter if Martin Brodeur played more games or overall minutes. He was the last guy to do it. Now, he was born in Montreal, Quebec, but grew up in an Anglophone neighborhood. His nickname was EJ, a nickname by which he is still known. He became interested in ice hockey as a youth and later become a goaltender. Now, he began his hockey career as a teenager in 1953 with the Montreal Junior Royals of the Quebec Junior League. After 6 years in the minor leagues, he was eventually called up in 1962 by the Bruins, who owned his rights and for whom he would play the bulk of his NHL career. The following year, he played every minute of every game during the regular season, the last goaltender to do so. Now, the Bruins were a mediocre team excuse me, in his first 5 seasons, finishing out of the playoffs every year and often in last place. This changed after expansion in 1967, when Bob Orr and Phil Esposito emerged. The resurgent Bruins became a powerhouse that won the Stanley Cup in 1972. Now, in those years, he served as a backup to Cheevers. He did play well enough to be named as a backup, or number 3 to Team Canada for the Summit Series in 1972. Although he played only in exhibition matches and the exhibition games against Czechs and the Swedes, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the following season, after defections in the new WHA, he became the number 1 goalie for the Bruins once more, but he did not play nearly as well and was traded after the season to the Maple Leafs in completion of the deal that brought Jacques Plante to Boston. After 1 season with the Leafs, he was dealt to the Blues, for whom he was a credible backup for 3 seasons. In his final year, 1978, he played in 12 games for St. Louis and then was sold to Chicago Blackhawks, the Tony Esposito main goalie for that squad. Now, he played in 4 games to win his playing career. Now, at the time of his retirement, he was 9th in all-time in games played by a goalie, 16th all-time in goaltending wins, and 6th in losses. Now, the only negative of his career with Boston, of course, was the infamous Halloween night slap shot from Bobby Orr that hit him in the head in a warm-up in Detroit. He eventually, because of it, spent 6 weeks in a hospital. Now, his playoff record was very strong with Boston. He recorded 7 wins for the Bruins in his career in the postseason, and that total, as of 2019, ranks him 13th on the all-time list for Bruins goaltenders. Now, the year after he retired as a player, he became coach of the Brunswick Hawks, the Blackhawks' new AHL affiliate, very popular, and he had led them to a second-place record of 41, 29, and 10 in that campaign. Now, he became head coach of the Blackhawks during the 80 season with a 34, 27, and 19 record. The following year, he shifted teams by becoming head coach of the Penguins, and in 1983 was appointed GM. He held the post at Pittsburgh for 5 years, and he oversaw Pittsburgh's infamous selection of the great Mario Lemieux in the early draft, where actually Eddie spoke French to welcome Mario to Pittsburgh. Now, he said, without Lemieux, he said infamously that the Mellon Arena, where Mario played most of his games, would be a parking lot without Mario. Now, Lemieux saved the franchise and eventually became one of the greatest hockey players of all time and won 2 cups with the squad. Now, after Johnston left the Penguins for the first time in 1988, he served as GM of the Whalers until 1992. Now, his tenure is actually remembered with great displeasure in Hartford, and he's viewed as being responsible for the franchise's eventual relocation to Carolina to become the Hurricanes by having dismantled a strong playoff team through bad trades and by allowing relations between star player Ron Francis and head coach Rick Lee, who was never a good coach to begin with, to deteriorate to the point where Francis was accused of playing out the final year of his contract. He was later stripped of his captaincy by the ineffective Lee in December 1990. Now, Johnston subsequently traded Francis along with his roommate Ulf Samuelsson to Pittsburgh as part of a 6-player deal on March 4, 1991. Although some thought that Hartford got the better end of the bargain, as center John Cullen had been among the league leaders in scoring that season, and Zardo Zalapski was seen as a young defenseman with great promise, the deal rapidly became one of the most lopsided and notorious in NHL history, as Francis and Samuelsson immediately went on to play major roles in Pittsburgh's 2-year Stanley Cup run in 91-92, while Cullen and Zalapski never had strong seasons with Hartford. Now, after being considered for the position for the 93 season, but having been unable to come to terms on a contract with Pittsburgh, Johnston was once again hired as head coach for the Penguins for 94 and guided the Pens until 97, where he was asked to step down due to the Penguins' failure to win a third Stanley Cup under his guidance. He then spent the next 9 years as assistant GM to Craig Patrick before being named senior advisor for hockey operations. In July 2006, his 23rd year with Pittsburgh, it was in that capacity as the Penguins finally won the third Stanley Cup a few years too late, and EJ did the same, winning his first title with Pittsburgh, first in 72 and first in management. Now, in 2009, he announced that Game 7 of the finals would be his last, and he moved into semi-retirement. On April 8, 2010, he joined more than 50 former Penguins, being honored in a pregame ceremony before the final regular season game at the infamous Mellon Arena. Now, Johnston remains the team's all-time leader in coaching losses, 224, in games coached, 516. On January 27, 2014, against the Canucks, Dan Bleisba passed him as the Penguins' all-time leader in coaching wins with 233. Now, awards and achievements: EHL First All-Star Team 60 in the minor leagues, EPHL First All-Star Team in 61 for the Hull Ottawa Canadiens, and the EHL First All-Star Team was with the infamous Johnstown Jets. He was a WHL Second All-Star Team in 62 with the Spokane Comets. Again, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, 70, 72, 09, 16, and 17 with Pittsburgh, and he also was named to play in the 72 Summit Series. So coaching record, again, Chicago, Pittsburgh, full totals, 266, 251, 50 ties or overtime, 50 ties, not overtime losses, and 3 divisional titles, and 6 playoff appearances with an overall 25 and 28 record. Now, again, head coach of the Blackhawks, he succeeded Bill White and was later taken over by Keith Magnuson. Head coach of the Penguins 80-83, GM of the Penguins 83-88, GM of the Hartford Whalers 89-92, and head coach of the Penguins, and he was taken over from Scotty Bowman in that tenure. And ironically, when he was replaced as GM of the Penguins, he was taken over by Tony Esposito, who was his number 1, where he played back up to Tony's last season in NHL. So again, don't burn your bridges in hockey. We learned that from Andre Savard. Have a good day. Bye.